I wanted to show you some cool grains that are available that you may want to do some research or just experiment with. The first one here is called bulgur. Bulgur is actually wheat that has had some of the bran removed from it. So it's a little bit fluffier, but it still has the germ, and it still has a lot of the fiber here. Bulgur is sort of cool because you honestly don't have to cook it. You can cook it just like you would cook rice or other things, but you can also just go ahead and put water on it and just let it stand, and it will absorb and be ready to use for salads and other things. This is polenta, which is corn, and you can use this as cornmeal, but it also, again, makes a really good side dish that we've been talking about. These two are oats. This one is steel cut, so you can see where the pieces of oat have actually been cut in pieces there in like parts. This is what is used in porridge in Europe and other places, where we're used more to this rolled oats, where they take the same piece of grain here and they just flatten it. And when they flatten it, this is what it looks like. And this is what we use when we have oatmeal, that kind of a grain. This guy right here is couscous. This is confusing because this is actually often put in with the grains, but it's not really a grain. It's like a little teeny tiny little piece of pasta, and that's how they make it. It's made out of flour, and it's more of a pasta kind of dish, but often is used with grains. If people have trouble with gluten, they do not want to eat this one, where a lot of the others don't have any gluten, but this one, it cooks quite quickly and it's delicious. Over here I have two different types of quinoa. Quinoa is cool because these are complete proteins. I just learned from Alton Brown that people used to be persecuted for growing them because in South American countries they were used in spiritual and religious worship, and so when European settlers came, they didn't like that was being done, and so people were actually punished. Good news about that is because they were grown more in secret, they are pretty much the same as they've always been. But the cool thing about them is they have all of the amino acids we need in order to have protein. So some of the other grains we have to combine with dairy or with legumes to make them complete proteins. But quinoa, whether it's the plain or if you can see all the different colors here, there's all kinds of colors of quinoa, but they're all delicious and work really well. Over here I have rices. There are 4 different types of rice. There's 2 combinations here. This one has some wild rice. You can see there it's got brown rice. This one has some brown rice, and it also has some flaxseed. It's another type of combination. Here I have Thai jasmine rice, and this is the rice that we just used in our kit, and this is just pretty much the traditional. But there are lots and lots of different types of rice, some that are used for sushi, some that are used for sweet sticky rice, all kinds of things. And then I left this one in the middle. This one is actually a combination. These little tiny guys are amaranth, which is a very ancient grain. There's also black rice. There's brown rice here. And then they also have lentils, which lentils are legumes. So when you make this particular combination, it's a complete protein because the amino acids in the lentils combine with the amino acids in the rice and make it so it's a complete protein. So grains are very versatile. There are a ton of them. They're fun to play with. You can add any kind of spices. They come from around the world. So basically, you get to be in charge of what you want to do with the grains.